and welcome to Update by Veg Economist. My name is Nadine Filko, and I'm happy to deep dive into the role of retail for developing the plant-based market. Before we jump into our session and welcome our guests today, I want to say thank you to our sponsor, Anuga. Well, in the last 5 years, I'd say we've seen quite a change in developing private label and also in product development for brands in retail. Welcome, Indy Kauer, founder of Plant Futures. I know you have a great expertise on this, and welcome Jan Philipp Hartmann, Anuga Director for Köln Messe GmbH. Indy, let's jump in straight away. What have you seen in the last 5 years? I know you are working together with several retailers. What have been the changes and what are you focusing on at the moment?
So I think so some of the big changes has been, well, we've got this big trend around veg-led food. We've got this hot topic called ultra-processed foods, which has really been quite challenging. We've had lots of discussions about naming as well. So there's been some hot topics which have created lots of discussion, debate within the category. And within the UK, we've seen quite a bit of rationalisation within the category, but it can also be seen as optimisation. So the category feels to be a lot more optimised now based on what consumers are looking for and where the demand is going. And innovation is still right. It is phenomenal how much innovation we have within this category, and it continues to come. So it's and that's brilliant to see. So.
Do you want to share a bit more about your work at the moment? What are you focusing on with Plant Futures?
Yeah, so one of the big initiatives we've got at the moment is launching a new campaign which is designed to drive category growth, and it's incredibly unique. It's probably one of the world first. The campaign is called Meat Free Made Easy, and we have many of the UK retailers getting behind it, and we have pretty much all of the UK's plant-based food brands involved, which is incredible. So what we've developed is a campaign platform where food brands within the plant-based space can communicate how easy it is to go meat-free and just give it a go. It's really fun, it's tasty, it's enjoyable. And the reason we went for ease was because that was one of the big insights that we found last year, that lots of people want to try meat-free either for a meal or a day or longer, but they don't know how to do it. So brands have come together to communicate. It's really easy, it's really fun, give it a go. So if you go onto Instagram, Meat Free Made Easy, you'll see kind of like the pilot. We ran a pilot in May for 4 weeks. And by our calculations, we reached 1.8 million people, 1.08 million people. So yeah, within 4 weeks, which has been incredible. So in October, November, we'll amplify, then we get into retail. So we have some retailer activations happening in October.
Let's jump into that later on and the role of retail also for developing this campaign. JP, I know you have also developed a platform this year at Anuga. Would you want to tell us a bit more about your work at the moment and plant-based for Anuga?
Well, yes, thanks for having me and thanks for joining out there. Well, yeah, we have created a platform, but a live platform, right? Anuga is, I would say, the most important stage for the food and beverage industry in the world. It's the biggest food and beverage trade show in the world with over 8,000 exhibitors coming to Cologne in, well, 2 weeks, I would say, like really soon, 2 to 3 weeks. And well, we always analyze the markets, right? We want to bring the complete and the whole food and beverage market and industry to our show, and we realized that a lot of our exhibitors in 2023, we take place biannually. In our last edition showed plant-based products, and we just wanted to give these kind of products the chance to participate in the industry better than we gave them the chance in the past. So that's why we included a new segment called Anuga Alternatives, a segment focusing solely on alternative protein sources and producers of these kind of products. We just want to give them a platform within our trade show.
So we do need the B2B platforms, live platforms, and we do need the digital platforms, which rather are B2C. Indy, when we spoke a few years ago and you talked about retailers' role, you said that they were still waiting for the demand, and now we've seen that Lidl has actually increased their sales by, I don't know, 400%. Maybe you know it. And what would you say? What has changed in the last years? Because I know it is different. So, and is UK different from EU? Can you maybe give us some insights on that?
Yeah, sure. I think what has happened primarily within the last 12 months across retail has been the rationalization, which basically means that actually when you go into store now within chilled and frozen fixtures, you'll now see a range that basically just works harder. It's more aligned to where the consumer demand is now versus where it was a few years ago. And I think through that optimization of what buyers are selling and putting into chilled and frozen and also ambient, then you're able to concentrate the sales, and then you're able to really kind of like just focus on some of the big things that you really want to get out there. I mean, something that we've seen that's been very popular is a lot more around veg-led proteins as well. So like tofu and tempeh and seitan, like that's seeing. I mean, they're still very small markets and categories, but they are in phenomenal. Yeah, they're seeing double-digit growth. Like it's been incredible, and so has like more veg-inspired foods, just like falafel. So we're seeing all of that come back, which is exciting, and that you can see retailers are kind of like following up on that trend and launching new private label ranges around those as well. So. Yeah, I think the work that retailers have done to rationalize ranges, although it's never an easy thing to do because you're having to take suppliers off shelf, has probably created a really great foundation for us to now build on further.
Definitely. Let's jump into how much, how have like private label, we see that there is more and more development. A few years ago in Germany, we saw that Lidl has went to price parity, which has changed the market a lot. How does the retail by their instruments and everything they're doing out there change the plant-based market and also the market for brands? Can you give us a bit more insights about that, where we're heading at with their strategies?
Yeah, I mean, with the for us to kind of break into this next wave of the consumer group, we've found an audience, and we've called them open omnivores. They're almost like the future flexitarian. Their needs and preferences are very different to existing flexitarians, vegans, vegetarians. They're motivated by different things. So, and actually what we're seeing is these future flexitarians or open omnivores in the UK, there's like 40% of the population who are interested in trying plant-based foods, but they just haven't done it yet. But one of their biggest motivators is health and nutrition. So I think one of the things the category can start really thinking about is actually how do we lean into health and nutrition and dial that up versus the ethics and sustainability. Whenever we've been doing research, it's always health, nutrition, and then sustainability, and then animal welfare ethics. So I think we'll start seeing the category just switch around a little bit in terms of actually what does it stand for? Because at the moment it's trying to do all of it, and it gets quite confusing.
Mm-hmm. And we also see that there is so much happening in the world at the moment, and we're overwhelmed and not just looking at sustainable issues. JP, how do you see the market at the moment? How do buyers react to changing markets, and what are they actually looking for when they go to Anuga? Have they changed their interests in the last few years?
Well, I would say the interest has changed in a sense that many also come not only for purchasing products which they then can put in the shelf. They come for innovations, for new trends. They want to spot, maybe also to see what is beyond, let's say, Europe, what is on the market beyond Europe. And I think we believe we are not only the biggest show, we are also the nucleus of the industry for innovations, right? We have we really focus on that because we believe it's really important, not only for the buyers, but also for the exhibitors and us as trade show organizer, to have the future of the food and beverage industry in Cologne, in our halls, at our platform. So we really focus on innovations. We focus on startups, and also this was another reason why we included Anuga Alternatives. It's a really innovation-driven segment, and I'm not talking about. Well, it's kind of new to have a plant-based alternative or hybrid alternative. I'm talking about the ideas behind it and the motivation why to include these kind of products in your existing portfolio, or for companies to go into a niche and present yourself as this kind of solution provider for global issues and challenges, right? And this is why we focus so strongly on this. And since you have asked why innovations are so important, I mean, I gave you one part of the answer. The other answer, or the other part, is that not only the retailers looking for this, right? Investors are looking for this. Actually, the exhibitors themselves are looking for kind of these kind of solutions and want to find out how did you manage to bring this into your portfolio? What have you done? What have you changed? What was the motivation beyond, let's say, revenue, to include this into your product lines? And well, we just want to give this a platform.
It's such an interesting point, because the amount of innovation we have within this category is phenomenal. Like, I've been working in the food industry for at least 20 years now. I've never seen innovation at this level in any food category that I've worked in, and that's why I think having shows where you can really showcase and really kind of like bring it all to life is really important for this industry, for this category, to really kind of like make people aware on a global platform the innovation that is being created by these really smart scientists, like entrepreneurs, investors, for buyers to see it all come to life. Some of it's pretty show-stopping. So, and it becomes like the buzz, isn't it? It's like the place you want to go. It's like everyone wants to see innovation.
Yeah, and it is a beginning of a development, right? It starts at the moment, or it did start like 10, 20 years ago in the meat production segment. Then it swapped over to dairy, and I believe it will continue and influence the whole industry. Far beyond meat, far beyond dairy, it will create also waste, or how do you say, solutions in producing products, which we all cannot even imagine. But some very clever mind will have that idea, how to create new ways of production of, I don't know, let's talk about, I don't know, sweets and snacks and so on and so on. I mean, it's already there, vegan alternatives, but it will, in my opinion, influence the whole industry, and it is just the beginning. And I'm so much looking forward to this in the future, because I believe it really tackles challenges everybody of us is being influenced in daily life now, and even stronger in the future.
Absolutely, but I think this could also be a problem for retail, actually, because of course, we are in our bubble, we know about it, we're excited about the innovation, but retailers have to face consumers, and they are not that into innovation as we are. When it gets to their food, it's very much about culture and your connection to food. So indeed, I have two questions actually. How do retailers cope with it? What are strategies out there? Do you have insights about that? And also, as you just mentioned, sweets, do we see different strategies and also openness from consumers in retail and in the development for the different categories, let's say sweets, dairy, meat? Are there differences?
Sure. I think one thing that always sticks in my mind is that everybody loves innovation until they have to change. So, and that's the hard part. So, I think that's what one of the blockers that this category has faced is the innovation's there, right, ready to go, but then actually how do you get consumers to actually want to buy it, even if it's on shelf? And that's where marketing comes in. And like marketing and branding is what sells food. And I think there's more work that we can do within this category holistically, as well individually as brands and retailers, to understand how do we market these products in a way that a consumer is going to see that, yes, I need that product, I want to buy that product. The difficult thing about, say, plant-based proteins and sweets is that sweets are pumped from obviously sugar. Sugar sells, everyone loves sugar. It's really, really easy. And if you've got some bright colours and you've got some really cool characters on there, you know, everyone's going to love them. Haribo is a brilliant example. Kids and adults, it's all great. When it comes to plant-based proteins, we need to make them tasty and indulgent for sure, but it's like, what is that communication vehicle? Why should somebody now start buying a plant-based protein or a dairy-free milk when they already like what they currently buy? So the marketing of the category is going to be absolutely critical now to unlock the next stage of growth and to get it into mass market. But it's very difficult because we're up against big behavior change, formulating new habits, and the cultural element around the food that we're creating. It becomes more of a collective issue, a collective initiative versus just one brand or one retailer trying to do this by themselves.
And is that what retailers are doing at the moment with the campaign? How strongly are they involved within the campaign to eat meat-free? I mean, that's also very, very narrow in its message. Eat meat-free. Like, did they come up with it, or was it difficult to get the retailers there? Because actually, they need to be open to all products, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we came up with the phrase "meat-free made easy," and it was all backed through insight. So the first bit of insight, we did a big survey in the UK and in Germany as well. Actually, it was with 2,500 people in both, in partnership with GFI Europe and agency Harris X. And what we found, so we applied this model called COM-B, a model of behavior change. To change behavior, you need capability, opportunity, and motivation. We tracked plant-based across all food and drink categories of plant-based against the animal-based equivalents. And we found that actually across all of those three metrics, capability, opportunity, and motivation, there was a huge, significant gap between plant-based and animal-based. Like, for example, when it comes to plant-based, I think it was like about 26% of the UK population actually have friends and family that eat plant-based foods. Whereas when it comes to animal-based, it's like 86%. So it just goes to show that what your friends and family are doing are actually dictating what you do individually. So this is more of a social normalization of the category that needs to happen, not an individual person. So we found out all of these sorts of things. And then what we also found was actually the people who do want to try meat-free, which is like millions, they don't even know where to start. They don't even know how to cook a meat-free meal. And it's like, well, if you don't know how to do it, but you want to do it, how about we help you understand how to do it? And so then we tested that concept, that message with System 1. And System 1 is an agency that uses System 1 thinking, like rapid thinking. And it scored really highly. Only 10% of great advertising gets to the score that we got a score 4.5 out of 5, which is exceptional for that message. And then we built a creative around it. And then we were working with industry, and the industry, they all came on board. And then we had 30 brands communicate that same message. And now we have one of the UK major retailers launching it in a few weeks, which is incredible. So it's all been backed by insight, and it brings in something called like a systems change approach, which is where a systems change approach is where you all move together in the same direction at the same pace at the same time. So this campaign is that it's if you get 30 brands all communicating the same thing, logic would tell you you're going to reach a really big audience in a very cost-effective way. So that's how we've built the campaign.
JP, can you recognize something like that within the buyers and the retailers in general and the industry, that you have something such as a system change? And were there any like products that were launched at Anuga in the last years that you would say that were like game changers? I know Just Egg is, for example, launching in Europe at Anuga. Is that right?
That is correct. They registered for participating this year. To be honest, we have a question here which I cannot answer that perfectly as Andy did, because I'm not too much a retail professional. But you know, when the question you have raised for Indy, the first question was, or my answer was like, okay, the retail is looking what is the client, the customer demanding, and there was a shift. I think that is without a doubt, and they would not like the shelf space is so expensive for them, even for the retailers. I doubt they would place products there which cannot be sold, right? So I'm looking really from that perspective, even though it's basic economical understanding, but if there's not the demand, you will not find these products in your shelf. So I'm actually really happy that the demand is there. So these products will be put in the shelf. And yeah, some of the products you can see in the shelf on the shelves, I think not only in Germany but also in the UK and Europe wide. For example, Beyond Meat, they have presented their products at Anuga, of course, and were able to meet visitors, retailers from, I don't know, 195, 190 countries. So I believe that Anuga plays a role in that. And I can tell you, for example, Air Up, which is a drink company, but they don't do anything else but putting a ring onto the bottle of water, and by smelling it, it tastes like cherry, for example, or Coke or something like that. And they won the innovation prize in 2019, and now in Germany, at least I can tell you, they are nearly everywhere, right? So yeah, I mean, I believe in that. I must believe in it, and I want to believe in it, that trade shows, not only Anuga, all the trade shows play a pivotal role in this. Because in the end, the retailer, they know about products, they can read about products, but tasting them and really trying them out for the first time in texture, in taste, and so on, that is being done live on such a platform, right? So yeah, I believe Anuga and other trade shows have a big influence on that, definitely.
I think like that was quite inspiring with Air Up, because I'm just thinking about people having small devices at home, giving them a certain smell. So because taste, I know, is like one of the major issues for alternatives in general. And maybe we could put something, I don't know. I have to think about this further. Maybe we could have something like a plant-based hat or whatever, and then you have the smell, or a packaging. Maybe this is something for packaging. But when we're jumping into topics like this, like the taste, and also educating people, we've recently seen at EU level that there is a debate about naming again. Indy, I would like to ask you, because I know you are recently preparing a study about how to name products, and also in the UK, of course, you are not connected to the EU discussion. Can you tell us a bit more about your study and what you are facing in UK? Because this is also about education, right? And you just said just one last sentence, that people need to know what they do with the products. And if we don't call them what they're for, then yeah, how are we going to know what to do with them?
Yeah, exactly. No, this is just, yeah, I mean, what we're going to be doing in the UK is, so we're going to be running a new piece of research imminently. We're just in the middle of like briefing it out right now, but we're going to be going into stores, and we're going to be doing something called semiotics. I've not seen a semiotic study yet within this category. But semiotics kind of explain how culture is formed, and you have top down, you have bottom up semiotics. Bottom up semiotics is kind of like, how does it look? How does it make me feel? Any cues that you might have seen that you relate to something else, and then you don't like it. And then top down is actually more cultural, actually like how culture is being formed, and then how does the category now show up against that culture. So in a nutshell, it will help tell you what turns people on and what turns people off. And so this study will really help us to understand, how is the category showing up to shoppers right now? How are they perceiving it? And then what do we need to do? So I think we're still quite young in the plant-based category journey. I mean, I use 2018 as being like my benchmark year. Although meat alternatives have been around, and dairy-free products have been around for much longer than that, I think 2018 felt like when it really kind of like kicked off. So the study will just really give us this opportunity to just challenge some of today's thinking, and just like, have we got it right? Do we need to change it a little bit? The category is known as being a bit more green. Is that green is not always the most indulgent color? Like, you know, if we really want to amplify taste, does it need to look a bit more like chefy, deeper, richer colors? You know, all of this sort of thing. So that's going to be the new piece of work. It's the first time that I've seen anyone kind of commission that piece of work. The insights that we do, the headlines will be like available. So I'm looking forward to sharing what we find. And then what we're able to do with the insights is then convert those insights into tangible actions. So the campaign Meat Free Made Easy has proven that it is possible to build a big multi-stakeholder campaign. We're able to create a platform, and we're able to communicate outwardly to reach millions of people. Then we'll be able to take that on for next year and actually understand, okay, where is there an opportunity for this category to reposition or develop a new message, and we can then communicate that message out via the collective group of businesses we work with.
And JP, do you like, just to get back to this naming issue also, because it's really a great issue for us in the EU and in Germany, because we have the Lebensmittelbuchkommission, sorry, no English word there for at the moment, and we actually have our rules. How do you perceive the debate, and how people, like, is this maybe even a hint that the industry does see that there is a change, like an indicator for change, and now it's the last raising some whatever.
I
It's
know.
like
I know in which direction you want to go. I have to say this now because I'm director of Anuga, and Anuga is representing all the industries, right? I am neutral, or I want to stay neutral, but as a consumer, and I'm a vegetarian, due to these kind of products, by the way, you know, I got a vegetarian when I understood, okay, there is a way to save the planet, or to help the planet, let's say, and to have kind of the same taste and kind of the same products, and I don't have to miss out on any, or not too much missing out on taste and stuff like that. So, well, it's tough for me to answer, but as a consumer, I think it's the prevention of innovation, right? It is they are trying to save and support industries which are huge, which are big, which are really important for the whole industry, for the economy, and so on and so on. There's no doubt about it. But and I keep on continue saying this in every webinar I am, in every panel, let the people decide, or the consumer decide, what he wants to eat. You don't have to call the product for protection reasons or give it another name. If I want to have a vegetarian burger, I will buy a vegetarian burger, no matter how it's called, because I really want to have that product, right? So I'm getting sometimes a bit emotional here. I really believe that it is preventing innovation, and preventing innovation means preventing growth. At least for some categories, and this is why I doubt that this is the right decision. But well, what can I say? That was the private answer. The answer as the Anuga director would be, all the industries are really important, and the development of the industries. And if they believe protection is the only way to save a category, to save an industry, then I think these would ring my alarm bells if I would be part of the protected industry.
And I kind of like agree at some points as well, because it's just there's two things. One is like the consumer, and one is the industry. And some of these topics, like ultra processed foods, it creates chaos, it creates tension within the food industry. But actually, if it looks like a sausage or it looks like a burger, everybody in the street is going to call it a sausage, whether it's permitted and legal or not. You're not going to stop calling it a sausage. So I think sometimes we could probably like just separate, okay, the chaos it's causing within the industry versus, does the consumer even care? Because if it's going to look like a sausage, if it says sausage on the front of packet or not, and it looks like a sausage, they're probably still going to call it a sausage. They'll understand it's a sausage, and they'll understand it's a plant-based sausage. So, yeah.
Definitely, and we're facing even more problems regarding this, because we also have to talk about labels and like, how do we put vegan on the package, or is it just, I mean, where are we heading there? Could it be, is there a possibility that brands might be in the focus then? When you're talking about, you're doing a study to take a look at how do the packages have to look like, what do we have to write on them? Is there also, are you also looking into whether maybe we will say in future, if we're not allowed to call it sausage or whatever, I'm going to have a brand, like the name of the brand, and then I'm just going to have that brand maybe, or I'm going to have a Lidl, I'm going to have I'm going to have Beyond, I'm going to have a Tyndall, I'm going to have whatever out there. Is that a possibility?
Yeah, exactly. I think so in terms of like vegan labeling on front of pack, it really depends on the audience you're trying to reach again. And we know quite clearly for some, the association of vegan food, which is also strange because it's almost like it's food for them, it's not food for me. So it can also be isolating. For some, there's a perception that actually vegan food doesn't taste as good as non-vegan food. So it really depends on who the audience that you want to hone into. What I have seen that's been really interesting is that actually vegan fashion has a very different connotation than vegan food. And actually in vegan fashion, it's almost gone high end. Like vegan leather is almost seen as being more aspirational than just regular leather. So there's something interesting that's happening in fashion and beauty in reference to vegan versus what's happening in food. In food, it's far more polarizing. So businesses now are a little bit more switched on that actually it's less about whether it's vegan, it's more about it just tastes great, it's food, it's for everybody, versus assigning an identity to it. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to shift culture from plant-based as being a lifestyle choice you opt into because you either believe in the ethics or sustainability behind it, to plant-based is nutritionally necessary. And it's nutritionally necessary because we have a fiber deficiency. In most markets there is a fiber deficiency, and there's a a nutrient deficiency. So plants service those deficiencies. So it's like we're trying to create that shift. A shift, it's called a cultural norm shift.
That's interesting. Do you see cultural shift out there in the industry as well? And I want to also say, JP, no industry they do not have to save their industry. Like there's nothing's going to happen in the next I don't know how many years that they have to save their industry. So that's yeah, that's another discussion. Let's talk about that at Enuga maybe. But do you see a cultural shift out there and strategies to work on changing culture? And did the industry maybe do it wrong in the beginning? Because I know, like, I always go back to cultured products that we always see these petri dish, which didn't do anything good for perception of the category.
Well, no, I don't think that there was done any mistake or any wrong decisions or strategics. I think in the end, the product will convince a consumer or it will not convince a consumer, right? I think it's really important. That's what Indy is also saying and did in the past. It is just important to make these products available and to gain or to create interest in trying these kind of products, right? Because people, I feel at least, they are really emotional when it comes to vegan food against or versus vegan food, right? They are really emotional, and somebody feels, I don't know, maybe attacked or is afraid of change and whatever. But if they try the product, they will understand that these products taste, mostly at least, fantastic, and you don't have to well, how do you say, you don't have to suffer in taste or anything, right? It's just another product, and maybe there was back in the days, looking from it now or today, a strategic issue in calling it alternative and so on and so on. That's definitely the case, because nowadays it's just, you can have both. You can even actually have hybrid products, right? Well, I don't think it's a mistake or something done wrong here. It's just in the development in the market, and I'm pretty sure pretty soon we will not have that discussion anymore. How to call a product? I mean, pretty soon means maybe in 10 years. But it will take a bit in our fast moving world. But still, 10 years. If you look back, what was in style in 10 years ago, I don't think we will have a problem here later.
Yeah, and we do see great development in the products, in taste, in also in branding. I think like there are many products out there, many brands doing it right at the moment already. I want to use the last few moments to give you the chance. I know just to maybe also say what you see, what is relevant. I know you're talking about culture a lot. What are the next steps for retail? Where are we heading at in the private label? Against brands versus brands. What will we see in the next 5 years? Can you give us your view of the future?
Yeah, I think in the next, I mean, well, we're still in a bit of a test and learn phase of the category. Like we're seeing lots and lots of people tap into this category, so we're going to see that continue to grow, to continue to go. I'm betting on 2027 is when we'll see the next boom within the category. And I do believe that a lot of the work that we're doing in the UK is going to be very helpful for international markets, because we're doing proof of concept and we're actively designing mechanisms, mechanics, like platforms to drive consumer adoption. And we're in that test and learn phase. If we can crack that, if we can start building that momentum, then we'll see kind of growth start coming back in 2027, which is going to be great for Enuga actually, because that'll be your next one. Yeah. And so that's a big thing. And then in terms of own label and brand, I understand that there can be tension. I've worked on both sides. I've worked on Tesco's own label strategy for plant-based, and I've worked on supplier side. I've worked for Cadbury and Mondelez and brands. The two things can work hand in hand, and they can work quite harmoniously. brands can offer something that retailers are more, is difficult. Brands can offer authenticity. They can offer a story, the founder story. They can bring a not superior quality, but they can reach a level of quality and nuances in small scale production that's difficult for a retailer at high volumes to do. Retailers can address large markets, and they can create a more of a normalization, so they can really provide entry points for mass market to enter the category as well. So the two things can work in hand in hand when there's a good strategy for both to come together.
A good strategy also, JP, is your boulevard of innovation. Maybe, and also I know Anuga Horizon, I'm really looking forward to the program. Could you give us your view also of the future, of course, and a few hints for the 4th of October starting, Anuga, what we can expect from the stage and from the boulevard of innovation?
All right, there's many questions at once, but let me start with the Boulevard of Innovations, because this is one of my favorite topics. For people who have not been in Cologne, the halls are connected by a huge boulevard where you can go from the south part of the venue to the north part of the venue. So many meters long. I call it the highway of our trade shows, because you can nearly reach all the halls. And on this boulevard, we created a special show which is called Boulevard of Innovations. And we have several stages there, several special shows within that special show. For example, the Anuga Taste Innovation Show, where we place the top 60 to 70 most innovative products which have been reached in from our exhibitors, and just present them and show the newest innovation, which makes it really easy for the visitors to see, okay, these are the top innovative products, and this product I can find, for example, in hall 10.1 on booth A60, let's say, right? So it gives a really good overview of the innovations. Then we have the trend zone there. The trend zone is a stage dedicated to trends and developments of the food and beverage industry from 2025, but also looking what is next, let's say, what will be the future. And we have over 100 startups there, which is a huge number. And they are not only coming from Germany, only 40 or 45% are coming from Germany. The rest is coming from all over the world. We have startups from North and South America, from Asia, from our partner country, Korea, of course. We have a new partner country in 2025, which is the Republic of Korea. And this is the Boulevard of Innovations. Then you mentioned the Anuga Horizon stage. That is a stage dedicated to the horizon of the food and beverage industry, so to the future. What is robotics doing? What is AI doing? What is deep tech in general doing to help the industry evolve? Let's say this is actually being placed or located in the Anuga Alternative Trade Show, so in Hall 1. And we have fantastic speakers. I'm actually really proud of my team, who set up a really fantastic 5-day ongoing stage with tackling all these kind of topics I have mentioned before. Then we have the Anuga Organic on stage. I can go on, but let me just mention still the Anuga Organic on stage. So a stage that is dedicated for the organic industry, and so on and so on. We are packed with innovation and trends. And this, for me, I mean, as I said, I'm a trade show organizer. I'm not that maybe deeper into the industry than others, but compared to you, Nadine, and to Indy, I'm an amateur, right? But so for me, it will be fantastic to walk around these halls and find out for myself what will be the next big thing, and what will be the next development, which I can see in the shelves latest in 2026 or 27. So
I'm definitely looking forward to take the conversation there. I don't know, Indy, whether we are going to see each other at Anuga. But and maybe in 2 years I envision UK being country associated, and then we will maybe see some smell whatever for plant-based packaging. Thank you guys for being here in this conversation. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for your insights. Thank you for watching. Maybe we're going to see each other at Anuga in October or at our next session on October 16th here online about ingredients.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.